The dust has settled on Omolu's day, but the ray of the morning light had grown bolder, casting elongated shadows of the tall palm trees, swaying gently in the cool breeze. The rhythmic hum of the village had begun in earnest, rising with the clatter of pots, the crackle of fires, and the distant laughter of children blending harmoniously into the landscape of Nbudu. But Omolu's mind was elsewhere. The name Mafenwa still lingered on his lips like the lingering taste of ripe mango. He had not seen her in days, and the memory of her laughter haunted his thoughts like a playful spirit. The village square would soon be bustling, and if the gods were kind, he might catch a glimpse of her. At the market, perhaps by the palm wine tapper's stall, or bargaining with Mama Uzo at the pepper stand. He was in awe of this damsel, and he quietly chuckled to himself, delighted at the thought of one day making her his wife. Omolu made his way back to his hut, his bare feet kicking up tiny clouds of dust on the familiar path. He grabbed his woven basket, ready to gather herbs from the forest. A task he had done countless times, but on this day it felt heavy with expectation. The forest's edge was not far, but each step felt like a silent drumbeat, echoing the rhythm of his restless heart. Nbudu was starting to come to life, whilst the sun hung lazily in the sky, casting long shadows that danced across the dusty paths of Nbudu village. Mafenwa! Lalowo beckoned. Although the day had just started in Nadif's compound, Mafenwa's mother looks radiant. She was the epitome of beauty. Nbudu, the all-knowing village spirit, know her too well that Mafenwa better hurry to heed the call of the tigress. Mafenwa, she beckons again. Yes, mother, she responded, moving with lightning speed like a prey, fleeing for its dear life through the backyard, rattled but still wearing a stunning countenance.
For Lalawo,
life as she knew it would cease should the crown prince pick another damsel during the Nkolu Festival and pageant. No one loves a child more than a mother. Suitors had described Loalawo as really beautiful, a direct descendant of the goddess of the moon. Words like elegant and opulent would not do justice to how graceful she was in her heyday. If you've got it, flaunt it would be a suitable motto, as it was rumored that her heels did not touch the ground when she waltzed through Nbudu village, where she was born and bred. She knew she had an audience, and she worked them. Mafenwa was the spitting image of her mother. Turning a head or 20 was the highlight of her day. She lived for that. If she were cheese, she'd be the finest cheddar. If she were wine, she must have been brewed from the finest of grapes planted in a vintage vineyard, soaked and fermented in honey for 12 full moons, and spawned to perfection. She was pale, vibrant, and she glowed, truly a sight to behold. She could have had anyone for a husband, any king from the 9 kingdoms, the only goldsmith in the 9 kingdoms, perhaps. The leader of the king's guard, even. She had suitors queuing and begging. But how did she end up with Ndifi, a common blacksmith from Nbudu? But that's a story for another day. Ndifi could not curtail his fury. All efforts to make his wife understand that every human being has a path had been fruitless, sir. A path authored by the great deity Olojimi, with mortals just actors starring in a play written by the gods. Although Ndif strongly believed that the outcome of every play could be altered through supplications. Hard work and a touch of luck, he'd always tell his wife off. Not for being ambitious, though as a matter of fact, he respected her for that. But he knew that not allowing any avenue for compromise or failure in a quest like this was a catalyst for disaster. Olon fe denme mowagb, use your tongue to count your teeth, my darling wife, he whispered gently but firmly. The gods have already chosen the next face of the goddess, my dear, and the wise will tread, proceed, and approach this quest with caution. His words were as good as the gong of the town crier, sounding a warning tone to the deaf. It was music to Lualawo's ears. For a dog that will become a stray will ignore the warning whistles of its master. Good morning, father, Mafenwa said with a smile on her face. Aha! That's what I'm talking about, he responded. With a smile like that, even the goddess Nkolu herself will struggle to contest against you, he said. Come, I need company and some help to get wood from the bush. Your mother needs it to start making the morning cereal for a hungry man, he queried. Is an angry man. Mafenwa completed his saying as they both smiled and walked towards the bush to gather wood. Mafenwa's beauty was undeniable, but it was her dreams and determination that truly defined her. She was more than the expectations her mother placed on her, more than a face for the crown prince to choose. She was a woman with aspirations to see beyond the borders of Nbudu, to carve out a life that was her own, filled with adventure, learning, and love that was chosen, not assigned. And as she walked beside her father, the morning sun casting a golden glow on her Mafenwa knew her story was only just beginning. As they meandered through the forest, their banter filled the spaces between the rustling leaves. Mafenwa said, tossing a twig at his feet, how did you charm mother? Did you promise her the stars, or just a lifetime supply of polished iron? Ndife chuckled, his deep laugh reverberating through the trees. Ah, my daughter, your mother needed no stars. She saw the fire in my forge and mistook it for passion. Mistook? Mafenwa raised an eyebrow, her playful grin betraying her amusement. Yes, he winked. For she soon realized the only thing hotter than my forge was my stubbornness. Mafenwa laughed, shaking her head. And yet here you are, still forging away at life and mother's expectations. Ndifa's face softened. And you, my dear, are a blend of us both. Your mother's fire and my patience. Use them wisely. Mafenwa nodded, her heart swelling with affection. I will, father, I promise. As they gathered the last bundle of wood, the sun peeked through the canopy, casting rays on their path back home. Mafenwa knew that while the road ahead was uncertain, the foundation laid by her parents, their love, their flaws, their wisdom would guide her every step of the way. Nbudu is alive, the marketplace hums, the river whispers, and the people chatter. But amidst the movement, a stillness settles. The high priest Azemuo walks towards the village market, where the gods have met for yesteryears. The stench of his arms and charms sends a stench of fear through the air. Every step he took was very confident, and assured like the great Iroka tree of ancient days, his presence commanding silence. As he approaches the center, the market, his voice, deep and measured, carries over the gathered crowd. With the most assured stance, he passes on the messages of the gods. The goddess has chosen, but the chosen must choose wisely. A strange sensation creeps into her chest. It is as if the words are meant for her. The wind shifts, whispering secrets only she can hear. Her eyes, filled with both fear and defiance, lock onto the priest's gaze. A choice looms ahead.